The following program is rated G and is suitable for viewing by all ages.
Hi there and welcome back, friends. I'm Wendy and I'm here with Jzabela De Paz.
Yep.
In her home kitchen. You might know her as the Cake Mama. And I have been following you for so long, thinking that you are somewhere in the US.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I was like,
Oh.
oh, she's got such cool content. So I was watching you on Instagram, like a creep, and never saying anything because I'm like, oh, she's so huge, she won't even talk to me.
Oh gosh, no.
I know. Well, I know now
you know
that you're
of
nice,
course.
but but I thought maybe you could be like Instagram nice, and like not real life nice.
I do know exactly what you're talking about because I have experienced that with other content creators and
yeah, it's
Instagram
a surprise,
people.
right?
And then you're like, oh wow, I did not expect you to not be how I perceive you or see you on social media. And I find that really strange. And so I'm a what you see is what you get kind of gal. So
It's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
what I am is personable and friendly and fun, and
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not as tall as I thought. I thought you were like 8 feet tall.
I get that a lot. No, I'm a shorty. I'm only 5'4". So
Yay.
yeah, the shorty club, which makes people feel a lot better, I feel like, because they're like, oh yeah, we're about the same height. And especially when you do clothing try-ons and stuff, they're like,
Oh my
this
gosh,
is relatable
yeah.
because we are the same height. So if that fits you this way, then I know it's going to work for me too. So yeah, it's great.
Well, so now you know where to find her on Instagram and look at all the things that she's doing. But your business is more than just that.
Yes.
You're not just creating content. It's quite sprawling, isn't it?
It is, and it's kind of evolved over time. So the inception of the Cake Mama actually started as a baking thing. So I am a baker. That's what I do for a living, if you will. And then when social media allowed us to share more of the behind the scenes and the inner workings of life and Instagram stories and all that kind of thing, it allowed me to sort of share the family life and going shopping or going out for an event with the family, and that sort of grew that aspect of the business. So not only was I sharing the baking content, I was also showing what I was making for dinner or
Nice.
Something I bought at the store, and it just kind of organically grew into this lifestyle page as well.
Right.
So you get a little bit of everything on
Oh
the
yeah.
Cake Mama.
Oh
That's
yeah,
for sure.
and I'm loving that because
It's fun.
Yeah, I think everybody with like a little bit of a different brain likes some quick changes.
Yes.
And diversions in what you're up to.
I agree, and I also kind of feel like we're all multifaceted. And so yes, I could have just kept my page just being all things baking, but I was like, there's more to me than that. I think I have a bit of a voice and something, I like to be able to share, my hot takes on certain things, or hacks on how to squeeze lemon out of a whole lemon, get the lemon juice without getting the seeds, just random fun life hacks. Yeah, I'll have to show you
okay,
show you that.
Do we have a lemon?
We do have a lemon, so
my gosh.
we do have a lemon, so
Well,
I can
I'm
show you that.
Massively distractible. So if you lay out breadcrumbs, I'm on
You're
them.
like you're on them. So so it's been fun being able to share a lot of different things, family life and moving to a new city and then incorporating the baking business. It's been kind of fun to be able to do that.
Because you came from the Lower Mainland, is that
I
right?
did, yes.
And moved here
in 2019
because you liked it.
Well, yes, it is truly because we liked it. So we are a family of 5, and I was born and raised in Vancouver. We grew our family there. We always vacationed in the Okanagan.
Okay.
We'd come here twice a year. And it was just serendipitous that one camping trip, because we always came here camping, led us to look at houses.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and we were just like, it was very passive, very just for fun. And my husband and I just kind of thought, what if we could live a life out here? Like, what if we could do it?
Yeah.
And even at the time, like housing affordability in the Lower Mainland was really difficult and challenging for what we wanted. And we wanted to grow, our own food and have a garden and flowers. And my husband really likes to, tinker around in the yard. And, and I grew up in a house very much like this. And I was like, I don't think we could ever find this where we were.
So really specific requirements.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. So we definitely looked into a neighborhood that was older and sort of like just on its way to sort of growing with families, which is what we found. And there's a little grocery store around the corner from where we live where the kids can ride their bikes, and it was exactly the childhood that I had. I felt like we couldn't get where we were just because the city was very busy. We were in Langley. It's growing exponentially there. It didn't feel safe to have kids cross the street, and we found that here in West Kelowna, which is amazing. So yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, your house is almost exactly the same as my house, except some things are flipped around a little differently, but I feel very at home here.
That's great, and that's the thing. It does feel very homey, and we've obviously taken some time to make a house a home, which if you follow on social media, you'll know that we've renovated kitchens, we've added board and batten, we've painted, we've done all sorts of things, and that's really what makes a house a home, and we definitely do feel at home here now, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's how I got into everything with you, is like, oh, she's renovating. Oh my gosh, her house is similar to mine.
Right? And it's inspiring because you're like, oh gosh, if your house is like that, then I could do that with mine, and
Exactly, yeah, we redid our kitchen very similar to this. Like this is the sort of the feel, like really big and open, and I wanted more space here in my kitchen. Because don't you find when you have a party or something, everybody, no matter how much space you got out there, they're all right here.
They're in the kitchen.
Yeah, they're in the kitchen.
The kitchen is the heart of the home.
So
that's what we were thinking about when we designed this kitchen was, there's 5 of us. So we didn't want to be shuffling around, climbing on top of each other to get to the fridge or get to the dishwasher. So we were like measuring things out, going, okay, if the dishwasher door opens this far, can we still walk past it? And we were like, okay, it's past the test. So,
yes. The dishwasher opening test is a huge
important.
one.
I mean, I don't know how many times I've had my ankles banged up because of the dishwasher door, so it was a huge 100%. Thing for sure.
Yep. At our place, that was the big deal. We opened the dishwasher and my son walked past. He said, I don't have to walk like this.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So that was the same for us, that's for sure.
So nice. And okay, so on your website, now you've got not just the Instagram, not just Facebook, but there's also a website. Are there 2 websites?
There's 2 websites.
Yeah, there's like a shop and
a blog. Basically, yes.
Okay. I've been crawling around on both of them. The part on your, like the About Me, when you scroll down. Yeah, so you got me into watching, I'm listening more to Mel Robbins, is that?
Yes, Mel Robbins.
Oh my gosh.
She's very inspiring.
Yes, I was having a bath and listening to her. I'm like, I wonder if she's doing the same thing I'm doing right now.
Well, I actually just started doing one of her little workbooks that's basically just kind of taking inventory of your previous year so that you can live your best 2024 is what she calls it. And I think it's really nice because I'm not usually the type of person who deep dives into like, well, how did you think this went and how did you think that went? But it's actually kind of, sort of forced me to do that and, really take a look at just like the wins that I had in the last year, and you know, the things that I was like, oh gosh, you know, we did go on little day trips, and we did do a lot of things.
Right.
When, you know, at first pass, somebody goes, well, what did you do last year? You kind of go, oh, well, not a whole lot, right?
Right.
So it allowed you to go month by month, and you know, look at photos of, you know, photos that you may have taken at that time, and go, oh yeah, you know what, we went to Seashelt in July. I forgot about that. And so it was kind of nice to sort of dig back. And so I'm really inspired by her and just her simple little life tips.
Yeah, and she's pretty earthy about it.
Yeah,
and not so much of a cheerleader.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's very real about it. And sometimes we just need that realness and just be like, you know what, you can do hard things, and sometimes you do need the kick in the pants, and she's willing to be that person for me, which is nice. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that's been really great.
And even like clocking wins, because often we go so fast that we miss the thing.
We do.
You know,
really
that's my goal. I got my goal, and now I'm on to the next thing. But you don't take a beat.
Exactly.
Go, oh,
exactly. And that was one of the things. Like I had secured a partnership with a very big brand last year, and I forgot that I had that.
Oh.
And when I was thinking about those wins, and so you know, when I was able to dig back into photos, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that was something that was kind of a big deal.
Right.
And you're just so quick to think of what's ahead of you, or that you need to be, you know, adding more to your life, when you don't even take that moment to just celebrate the things that you've accomplished that you never thought in a million years you would do. So
yeah,
it's really given me that time to reflect, which is really good.
That's so smart. I'll look for that.
Yes.
Yes.
Highly recommend.
Yeah. And we started watching For All Mankind.
Yes. How are you liking it?
Oh my gosh, I have a favorite character, and I feel like things are not going to go well for her.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we actually just finished the series, so I think there's 4 seasons now, and it's very interesting. Like, I've never been a space person, so if you're not familiar, this is like a space-related show. And and it is, I guess it's like what could have been if things went in a different direction in the real world. And it's very cool. Like, even just the things that they've made up about, you know, how they would travel to space, and like, you know, to set up life on Mars and all those kinds of things. It's just, it's a nice escape.
Yes.
You know, it's a nice escape, but there's all these little twists and turns, which I really enjoy. So
yeah, it's beautiful. And my husband writes science fiction mostly.
Is that
and
right?
so he's just right in his element, but we could never find anything that kind of crossed over for both of us.
Right.
And I like that, like the female aspect of these homemakers, kind of in the 1950s.
Right.
All of a sudden, well, they had been pilots. But then their husband got doing the thing, and they got like just relegated into this really weird space.
Totally.
Where they understood everything their husbands were doing because they were capable of doing it themselves. Yeah, or at least one of them was.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but weirdly, she's not my favorite. I like the mean, crusty one.
Oh, I know, she's great. Oh yeah, so keep watching.
Okay.
You need to keep watching.
They're not going to dissolve her at the end of this?
No.
God.
Yeah, no, you got to keep watching. It gets better.
That's always my fear, is like, I'm rooting for her. She's my avatar.
Totally.
That's who I want to be. And then they
and
kill her or
something.
something.
No. Don't have no fear. You can keep watching.
That woman will continue.
Yes, she will. And a few others. So.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to see her blow some stuff up.
Oh, yeah. You'll enjoy it for sure.
Yeah. Oh. All right. So, Rob, if you're watching, we're going to keep on going with this.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So that's really fun. I love that aspect that you're willing to, you know, talk about things that you're into right at the moment.
Totally. And I just, I finished reading a book. I was reading Prince Harry.
Oh, yeah.
And I just finished it last night because I had to take a break from it. And I'm not a big royal, like I don't follow the royals, but it's just a very interesting perspective.
Yeah,
and
of his life as he experienced it, his lived experience.
Yes, exactly. And not really, didn't occur to me the whole idea of the heir and the spare. And so I just didn't quite, connect with that. And then just to kind of understand what his life has really been like. And
that would do something to your head.
I think it would.
Yeah.
I really do. I think that there's something to be said for having the desire and the drive to want to do something and hope that your family would be proud of that. Only for that to be like not the case. You'd be like, oh well, then what does anything mean anymore? Like, you got to find your own path, I think is what it is.
Yeah,
and so,
or to feel like you're a disappointment no matter what you do.
Exactly.
Because you're not this guy and you're not like that.
Exactly, but you can't be more than, so you kind of just have to hang back. But then again, life always needs purpose, and so I think even in the case of the royals, you still have to find what that is, especially if you're not destined for the throne.
Exactly. If you happen to be the spare.
Right?
That's just grim.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. So glad I'm not in that family.
Oh yeah, that would be a real rough row to hoe, as my dad would have said.
Oh yes, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about what else you've got. Like, I'm hanging out in your About Me page.
Yes. So then the blog has recipes. So I've shared recipes on baked goods, savory goods, and that's kind of an extension, as I was mentioning, through my Instagram page, where people go, oh gosh, I really like that recipe. You should really write that down. So I've kind of made it a personal goal to, when I do share something on social media, that I go ahead and, jot it down to add to my, never-ending to-do list of putting it on the blog so people can find it. So I put that on there. I also do like little lifestyle tips, recommendations for products. I share, because our family is plant-based, I share tips and tricks on how to do food swaps if you're into that. And then there's the other page, which is my Shop the Cake Mama page, which features all of my baked goods. So that's where you can find all of the offerings that I have, which are typically seasonal. I do take on custom orders as well, but that's basically where the e-commerce side of the business is, where you can order products.
Now, does that only work if we're local? Or
No, you can ship. I can ship nationally.
What kind of things can you ship?
Sugar cookies.
Okay.
I can do decorated sugar cookies.
Firm, right?
Yeah, and I mean the ones that are.
Those look a little fluffy.
Yeah, so these ones are decorated with buttercream, which is a fan favorite. But typically they're decorated with royal icing, so that does dry.
Nice
and so you can package
harder
those
than the
up.
cookie.
Yeah, actually my recipe is a little bit softer, so it's not a terribly hard bite. I know a lot of people are not huge fans of royal icing, which is why I do like having a buttercream option, because it's tastier, I find. So those are shippable. I also do cake jars. So essentially it's layers of cake, so pre-baked cake in a jar, and it's layers of buttercream and whatever filling. So it's essentially like a deconstructed cake, just in a little jar with a lid. So you can just kind of take a spoonful whenever you are in the mood. Yes. So those are shippable.
Right.
I also do meringues, macarons. So there's lots of options that are shippable, ship-friendly.
For the meringues and the macarons, do you have something that keeps the moisture from?
Or
are they going to be okay?
They're usually okay. I typically don't ship those when it's warmer. Right. So this temperature is the most ideal, because it's cold and there's
so you're not going to have a sweaty little macaron.
Yeah, you're not going to have a sweaty little macaron. But in the summer months, especially when, gosh, I can only imagine what, shipping vans and shipping warehouses feel like. I refrain from shipping anything that's meltable or causes humidity, because of course then you get a sticky meringue. Yeah. versus a chewy one versus a nice dry dry one. So that's usually how I try to gauge based on the weather, for sure.
Oh, that's fun. So I could ship some of your things to my mom in Manitoba.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I know what to.
Well, I know, and my niece's birthday is coming up. It's in March.
Oh gosh, that'd be fun.
What
and I actually also do fun little DIY kits. So there'll be pre-baked cookies. And pre-bagged colored icing. Okay. And then a little card that kind of gives you sort of step-by-step instructions. And then you get to just, and the theme can be custom. So if somebody loves, unicorns, we could do a unicorn theme. If somebody loves outer space, then we can do a space theme. So it's very versatile. Wow. It's a lot of fun. It's a nice gift idea. It's something different. It's something that's so creative as opposed to, a thing. And that's what I always love. And even another thing that I really enjoy doing is instead of the goodie bag for birthday parties, I recommend people just getting a custom sugar cookie. So in whatever theme that they want, it's because then it's edible, and then parents don't have to worry about all the little tiny knick-knacky things that make sound they wish would disappear.
Click, 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 click.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? The little hand clackers and the little kazoo or whatever it is. So it's
kazoo.
A nice,
who thought of that?
I know who thought of that. My
Somebody
kids are big
hates
kazoo
humanity.
lovers.
Oh,
they
no.
do, and anytime somebody has a birthday, they pull out the kazoo and we'll do a little ditty on the.
Have you? Because you record some songs.
Yes,
with your kids.
I did. So that was kind of a pandemic thing. It started in 2020.
It
And
is
when we
so
were,
cute.
It's fine. We had so much fun. We were like, well, nobody can visit family.
Yeah.
So how do we bring Christmas cheer to everyone, holiday cheer? And
Yeah.
so we did a song every day in December until Christmas Eve.
Wow.
And it is fun, but also being like the choir director of my 3 children had its challenges. So then we dropped it down to 12 days, so the last 12 days leading up to Christmas, and that was great. And the feedback we got from the community was just, I look forward to this every night. My daughter makes us watch it over and over and over again because that's their favorite song. And it was just a really touching way to connect with the community. Of people all over the world. Like it was kind of a cool thing. Whether or not it'll continue this year, I don't know. My kids are getting to the point where they're feeling a little burnt out. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be a song here or there.
Well, they got to recover.
They do.
You know,
they do. Well, they have between now and December.
That's right.
Recover,
that's what I'm thinking.
So
you got months to sort this out.
We do. So, and they're very musical. They love musical theater and that kind of thing. So
fun.
I feel like.
Has the kazoo come into any of these?
No, but you know what? Now that you mention it, I feel like that might be a perk for them.
Because the annoying as heck version of each song.
Oh gosh.
You could rewrite some words.
We could.
Just be obnoxious.
We could be
that would
creative.
change your vibe.
I think it would change my vibe. Maybe my
From
audience
this
wouldn't like it,
sweet
right?
thing. Yeah.
To the obnoxious one? Well, I don't know. I mean, what does it take to go viral these days? Maybe
I
it's
don't
the
know.
kazoo.
Well, your son is like in the zone of weird humor, isn't
True, he is. Yeah, he's getting there. He's 8, so
8,
he's getting into that kind of quirkiness, which is interesting to
That's
watch.
kind of my favorite age, where they're like, oh no, you like that?
Oh, I know, and it's
or
just,
you ate that? You did that?
It's very interesting and very fun, and so different because having 2 girls and then having a son, it's just their personalities are just, they're similar but different. But the way he views the world is so different. So you're just kind of like, okay, yeah, or he'll be like, Mom, don't say that or don't do that, and you're like, your sister's never said that at your age. So
yeah. Why is this an issue?
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't bother me.
No, for sure, but yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Oh, boys are amazing. Okay, driving here, I had this thought of a really weird question that I wanted to ask
Okay.
you. So I'm wearing some of my favorite socks. Do you have any favorite socks?
I do.
Yeah, tell me.
I do. They're actually quite similar to the ones
Oh,
you're
yeah?
wearing. Yeah, they're like a no-show sock.
This is the
Oh
sock.
my gosh.
See?
Look at that flexibility.
Oh yeah, it's a problem.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm not wearing any socks. Otherwise I'd
doesn't
pull
have
my feet up. But it's a nice little ankle sock actually.
There
It's
you
got
go.
a little rubber, it's got a rubber little,
underneath?
No,
on the back, like
heel.
right here, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right on the heel
Yeah,
there.
this one
so
does.
that way they yours do?
Yeah, so they don't
So
slump
you
down.
you can slip them in anything and they're not going to slip off.
Yeah.
It's my favorite sock.
Yeah.
Although, and I also do like a tube sock too. I've kind of gone into that trend. Not deeply, but I do have a few
Like the
pairs.
white tube sock?
The white tube socks.
Wow.
Yeah, they're comfortable.
They are, unless the seam in the front gets crooked.
Yes.
And then it's like an obsession. of
Or if the top is too tight.
Oh, that's
because
horrible.
then you're just like, and especially, I don't know, obviously as you get older, you start realizing that you retain more water, and I'm like, oh gosh, like I didn't realize my ankles could look like that. So it's
So you've got like curvaceous legs where there's no curve meant to be there.
Exactly. And then you get the indents of like the ribbing of the sock, and you're like, oh gosh, that's
I eat a lot of salt
Yeah,
today?
did I?
Like,
I
what
should
did
probably
do?
hydrate a little more.
Exactly. Yeah, I find that with my rings sometimes.
Oh,
At the end of the day, it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
what happened?
Yeah, like
I didn't plan that.
Exactly. Can't take them off anymore. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm sleeping in them now.
Mine
They usually
forever.
calm down after a while.
It's true.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then you're able to take them off.
Yeah, once your body goes, no, everything is in stasis, you're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Drink
exactly.
some
I try
water.
not to panic either, because I find when you panic,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes it even more stressful, and your body just balloons up. And
So speaking of body things, what happened with you when you went plant-based? Did anything change in your life other than adjusting recipes and things like that?
I think if I dig back, because we switched over to this lifestyle back in 2017. So I would say definitely energy levels were a lot higher. My hair and my nails grew really fast. And I don't know if that's just purely coincidental, but that was something I definitely noticed.
Okay.
Health-wise, I mean, I would say the same. Like I never really had any food aversions. Like I'm not allergic. I don't have any dietary like allergies or anything like that. But I think just incorporating more plants in general and just having a lot more fiber in your diet definitely keeps the motor running, if that makes any kind of sense, which was great. And I think that's the thing that maybe I noticed the most was like I felt good and my body felt good. And it just maybe was a motivator to keep going with it. Yeah.
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 Well, that sounds good. What tips would you have? Like I've been flirting with it for about a year now. And generally we end up, if somebody else is cooking, then we'll eat whatever they've made. Because, especially if they don't know.
Right.
If they've known already that Rob and I haven't been eating anything that isn't plant-based, then they usually just accommodate us.
Of course.
But if they don't know, I feel like I don't want to be that guy that
I know.
It's like,
I know
you went to a lot of work, but I'm not going to eat anything you made.
For sure. And I think the thing is like, especially for anybody who's interested in slowly incorporating more plants or really kind of trying to lean into more of a plant-based diet is really just go slow. You know, I think one of the biggest things I learned was just gradually start switching out the things that you have that contain, you know, egg, dairy, whatever it is, with the plant-based version. So like your salad dressing or your mayonnaise or, you know, milk is dairy is a huge thing. And I know that's a challenge and a journey, but I say make it fun, you know, you remove the, like, it has to taste like this to what do I like about this and how it tastes versus, or what don't I like about it, right?
Yeah, so you're not trying to copy, you're trying to replace.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So same thing with like plant-based cheeses. A lot of them are cashew-based or like some kind of nut-based. And my mindset is always don't expect it to taste like cheddar.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Think of it more like a spread. So if you imagined, you know, a platter with, you know, veggies and crackers, and you would grab a dip of some kind.
Right.
You'd go, oh gosh, I really like that because it's got the chives and the garlic and thing like. You don't necessarily have to go, well, that doesn't taste like, you know, cheddar to me, or it doesn't taste like that Havarti to me. It's just a new experience. You kind of have to like wipe the slate clean a little bit. So
you're not judging it on criteria that it can't fulfill.
Exactly.
Right. Because it isn't the thing.
It isn't the thing.
Yeah.
And that's it's okay,
but it's
that it's not
a different
the thing.
And it's fine.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like that's what people find is the biggest barrier because they're really looking for that thing to replace it. But over time, like we've been plant-based for 7 years now, and you stop caring. I think that's the biggest thing because you go, oh, you know, I really love this brand of, you know, cheddar or chive and garlic spread, and you just love it because of it, and not because it's like the alternative. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so same thing with like plant-based milks. You know, we really enjoy soy milk. It's the kids, like we did kind of like a fun taste test. So I bought like almond, and oat, and cashew, and soy, and we just did a fun little blind taste test. And I got, well, which one do you guys like the most?
Which
and everybody kind of, so they leaned into soy milk, which is great because it's fortified and it's the most similar nutritionally to dairy in the way that it's fortified. And so, you know, it was great. So I was like, well, that's awesome. That makes it easy. And when they want chocolate milk, we just add a little bit of chocolate syrup and they got chocolate milk. And, you know, and so you just make it fun as opposed to dreadful, you know, because food is supposed to be fun.
Right.
Food is supposed to be, you know, is a language. It's a way to build community. It's a way, you know, like we were saying, the kitchen is the heart of the home.
That's right.
Food doesn't have to have a label. It just has to be delicious. Right. And so as you were saying, you know, you don't want to be that person. I think the funniest thing is that, you know, there's a joke that says, you know, don't worry, you'll know somebody's plant-based because they'll tell you. Yeah. And I typically don't tell.
Like no one ever said, oh, I didn't know you're plant-based. Exactly.
and I didn't, you know, at the very beginning of my journey, it was so like overwhelming. And you know, it was like you have this like sudden key of information and you go, well, now everybody has to know it. And now I have to tell everybody. And as obviously as I've gone through my journey, I've sort of softened that mindset in that like I feel activism, if you want to call it that, and that could be for any cause. You have to find what resonates with you and what speaks to you. And for me, it's just food is love. Food is one of my love languages. So I just want to show food that's delicious and inspire people to go, oh, I want to try that. I want to make that, rather than going, well, here's all the reasons why you should.
Right.
And did you know?
Yeah.
Some people like to do that. That's their passion. And, initially when I, learned about, our food systems and whatnot, that's how I felt like I needed to show up here. And then I was like, you know what? That doesn't feel like it aligns. It's kind of exhausting, to be honest.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say, you just kind of, when you have a potluck, you go, well, I brought this, and it's just, when people love it, you go, yeah, actually it's plant-based, and they go, oh wow, I didn't think it could taste like that, or I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did.
Yes.
And then it just kind of leaves them going, maybe I'll ask her for that recipe, because maybe I want to make it. Actually, I know somebody who is plant-based, and I want to make them something special, or something that I thought was delicious. And so I feel like that's kind of the way I like to navigate now. And obviously now, having a platform and sort of sharing that thing, people do know. Right. But even when we moved here, our neighbors had no idea, and they're like, let's have a barbecue. And I was like, great, well, we don't eat meat or cheese. And they were like, oh, okay. And so we figured it out.
Right.
And we often have get-togethers where we do, we'll do like sushi bowls. And we'll do tofu sushi bowls. Oh, yeah. And they'll bring, their tuna or whatever it is, and we work together, and we we have our plant-based options with which they'll lean into, and it works out just fine. So I just feel like there doesn't need to be that fear, or that oh, I'm that guy, or that I'm I don't want to be that person. I think when you just keep it casual, right, bring a lightness to it rather than a must and should. Exactly. Right. And I think people, I don't answer questions unless I'm asked, and for people, if people are genuinely intrigued, then I, will kind of go, well, what do you do about this? And I'll go, well, we do that. And they go, oh, okay, and you just keep it light, and you keep it positive. And I think that's the way to sort of leave an imprint or make an impact. What's your go-to right now in the veggie world? What's my go-to? Oh gosh. Well, every day I usually have, not every day, but most days I have a delicious tofu scramble. Okay. So that would be, the equivalent to an egg scramble. So I cook up my tofu, I'll add, onions and peppers, and sometimes I'll do a little bit of plant-based sausage, and then I'll put it into a little tortilla to make a wrap, and it's delicious, it's filling, it's, all the things I need it to be, and I kind of get a little fixated, right now that's my fixation, it's fun, and sometimes it's a fun salad. Yeah. And then just recently we did a nice Greek spread, so we had pita bread, and we had roasted lemony potatoes, and then we use, instead of chicken, we use a product called soy curls. So it's basically these little dehydrated pieces of soy that you can rehydrate and then flavor any which way you like. Okay. So we did souvlaki seasoning on that, and tzatziki, which was cashew based, and it was delicious. It was just it's meals don't have to be limiting, and that's what I like to portray, is that we had Greek night, and we also have Indian night, and we also have, Japanese night, and we do all these kinds of themed meals, but we make them plant-based, and it's totally find possible. That Indian food is so easy because it's a culture that's vegetarian anyway, right? Exactly. So you just swap out your dairy and you're good to go. So go for a culture that has a 3,000-year history of plant-based cooking. It's true. It does make it a lot easier, and actually a lot when you dig in a little further, you realize that a lot of these cultures do, their foundation is plants. Yes. And grains. Yeah. And then the addition of meat was kind of something that sort of came on a number of years later. So it's really kind of taking you back a few steps. And even my husband, his family's from Guatemala, and his mom, when we decided to transition to a plant-based diet, she was jumped right in. She was like, okay, I'm gonna figure out how to make your favorite dish using plant-based options. And it's been great. For her, she's like, I didn't think I could do it. And she did. And it's amazing. So it's very nice. It's very cool to be able to experience different food cultures and see them with a plant-based twist, and still be able to enjoy that, which is wonderful. That's exciting. Yeah. So speaking of food, Yes, we have.
Big transition to.
Big, yes.
Everybody's been staring at
What are
things.
these beautiful pink things here? Yeah, so I thought we would do a fun little demo. So as I mentioned, the other hat I wear, the main hat maybe, is being a baker. And so I thought we would do some fun cupcake and cookie decorating using some buttercream, because buttercream is delicious and it's fun to work with. And since, you know, we've got some special, you know, February is a great month for treats. I thought it'd be fun to learn how to decorate a cupcake and maybe do something fun with cookies. So, you up for it?
I am so up for this. I'm not good at this, so this is
I
wonderful.
will guide you. So
Thank you.
one of the things I do is I teach workshops, and that's something that I really love doing. I love connecting with the community. I haven't done anything that is related to cupcakes just yet, mostly sugar cookies, but this has kind of inspired me. So I love to guide and I love to teach. So let's start by doing, we'll do the cupcakes first, because I feel like that's a really good place to start. So you're gonna grab your darker piping bag, and this is fitted with, yeah, that's the one. And this is fitted with a tip, it's called a 1M tip. It's an open star tip, and it gives you this beautiful sort of rosette design.
Okay.
So we're gonna do the rosette design on these cupcakes. So I'll just bring your plate closer to you, and I'll show you how that. I'll do the first one, and then.
How do you get it down in?
Okay. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep turning it like it's like a little crank there. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay. There you go.
There's my bead.
And then what you want to do is you just want to hold the piping bag at that tightness in between your thumb and your index finger. Yeah. And then you're gonna use your fingers to squeeze up against the pad of your thumb there.
That way.
Yeah, and then that's how you're gonna get that icing out. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna start by piping a little star at the center of your cupcake, but don't lift the piping bag up, just squeeze it out. Then you're gonna imagine that you have a clock, and you're gonna move that piping bag up to 12 o'clock, and then work your way around the clock, squeezing at the same time, and once you get to about 11 o'clock, you're just gonna swipe the piping bag. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Perfect. Perfection.
I'm stunned. You're good at teaching. I've never had it work out before.
There you go. There you go. It's beautiful.
I'll do this. Okay.
Okay, so let's do the second one, except
All right.
for the second one, try to make that that little star, like the little star pipe in the middle, a little bit bigger.
Bigger.
And then that way it'll give you more coverage in the center. Okay. So just give a nice little squeeze, and then you're gonna come up, and then just keep squeezing, work your way around. Look at that.
Woohoo.
Beautiful.
So fun.
So fun. And then we've got sprinkles, so you can embellish them with sprinkles if you wish. Let's switch over to the lighter colored piping bag.
Okay.
So same thing, you're just gonna keep twisting it until you've got that icing coming out.
Have you ever had any disasters where your bag is broken?
Yeah, I have,
Yeah.
but not with these bags. So you're
these
good.
are good.
These are
bags.
nice and thick. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna hold it the same way you're holding the piping bag for your cupcakes.
All right.
Okay, and you're essentially gonna follow the shape of the heart.
All right.
So you're gonna start in the inner point of your heart.
So sort of like here?
Right in here, pipe that little star out, and then you're going to just trace around. And then when you come around, you're just gonna sort of swipe it in the middle.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you got it. There you go.
Boop.
Look at that.
Very cute.
Very cute. Okay, let's do one more.
Okay.
So squeeze that little star out. And as you can see, the more pressure you apply, the wider the icing gets.
Yeah, I was definitely more pressury with this one.
Yeah, so you can see that it kind of fans out a little bit. And then let's add some sprinkles. Make it a little bit more festive.
Okay.
Here, I'll give you that. And then this is just a nice little fun way to, show your loved ones that you think they're special, or yourself that you're special. Yes, right? How cute is that? Very cute.
Showing our cute little guy.
And as I was mentioning, I do have the blog, so I do have a recipe for vanilla cupcakes, which is what these are, and vanilla sugar cookies, and for buttercream. So it's all, I try to keep it all together. So not only do I offer the product, but I also make sure that there's a way for you to make it at home
You're
too.
a closed system.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to go anywhere else.
I'm a one-stop shop. So yeah, that's
Now,
what I like to do.
if I was doing this, we don't have any of it, but if I was going to do this with like a royal frosting.
With a royal icing, yeah.
Yeah, would I be flooding it? Like going around and then flooding? How do I do it?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different options that you can do, which is you can make your royal icing and you can make it what it's called a flood consistency.
Okay.
And so that's kind of like I usually like to equate it to the consistency of Elmer's glue, or like honey consistency.
Yeah, I think we've all done glue.
We've all done glue, right?
That's not the right way to say it.
No, played with glue and crafted with glue, right?
We have crafted with glue.
We have crafted with glue. And so what you could do is, so you create you have your bowl of icing, and then you just flip the cookie around and you can dip it in there.
Oh, okay.
And you sort of just tap it to make sure that you get good contact with the surface, and then you would pull it up and then just sort of let the rest of it sort of dribble off.
All right.
And give it a little shake, and then you just flip it around, and then you've got a nice coated cookie. Or you could do two consistencies of royal icing. One that's slightly, similar to the consistency of the buttercream to outline your cookie. So you've got a border that's going to hold your flood, so that's that runnier one. And then you could use that to flood the cookie as well.
Okay.
So that it's really key if you're using that flood consistency and you want to pipe it to have that border in there, because otherwise, exactly, it's just going to bleed over and cause that mess. So the border is key when it comes to flooding your royal icing.
When you're doing the dipping thing, do you drip back into the dipping bowl?
Yes, you can dip. Yeah, you can just drip right back in there.
And it's not going to get all crummy and weird?
It shouldn't, as long as your cookies are not.
Yeah, because this doesn't have any
No, it doesn't have any. And if there is any, then you'd want to sort of brush that off before you do it. But you can dip it in. You can even do like a marbling. So you could do two different colors in one bowl.
Oh, yeah.
And then just take a knife and sort of, score it.
Nice.
And then you can dip it, and then as it's dribbling off, when you flip it around, you'll have this really beautiful marbled design as well.
Fun.
Yeah.
Could you do that with the piping inside? Like if you flooded it and you did like a blop that way and a blop that way, could you marble it by just running something through it?
You could do like use a toothpick and do the same thing. If you've got two colors, you could do a blob here and a blob there, and then just use your toothpick to sort of pull those colors together to create a fun design.
Nice.
Another thing you could do is, what I've seen is people use sanding sugar. So it's essentially like granulated sugar, a little bit, the crystals are a little bit coarser, and in color.
Okay.
So you would dip your cookie and then let a lot of that excess dribble off. And then once you've got your beautiful surface, then you dip it right into your sanding sugar. And then you get that classic sugar cookie that's got the beautiful sugar crystals on top of it as well. So lots of really fun ways to decorate your cookies.
Fun.
Yeah.
I've seen some people with them on a rack with something underneath, like parchment paper underneath, and then just sort of pouring over.
You could totally do that. I would recommend that if you're doing that, maybe with some chocolate or like a white or dark chocolate is a nice way to do it. With royal icing, I find that first of all, it's very wasteful to do it that way. But also sometimes doing that sort of pour over can cause like crackling in your icing. And so it doesn't dry as nice as if you were to say dip it or to pipe it out.
Right.
It all really depends on that consistency as well. If you're really looking for a very thin layer, then certainly pouring it would be a great option.
So it would have to have a thinness to it as well.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. The only downside is, at least with chocolate, for example, you could technically reuse that chocolate, because as it hardens, you can just remelt it.
Right.
Whereas with royal icing, once it's gone hard,
oh, that's it?
the end.
Okay, so if I left it in my bowl and I get that crust on the top.
Yeah, if you get that crust on the top, I highly recommend using a spoon to just kind of
take it off.
that. Yeah, because if you mix that in, there's no way for that to dissolve.
So I've got chunky bits.
Got chunky bits, and then when you go to pipe, you're going to have a clogged piping bag,
Oh.
and you're going to have to use a toothpick to kind of unjam it, and then it's going to jam again and jam again. So my hot tip is, if you do have icing in a bowl, make sure it's covered, like use a container that has a lid,
Okay.
or use a damp cloth, like if you're working with it, but in between cookies or that,
Okay.
you use a damp cloth to cover that so that it doesn't create that crust on the top. But if you're at that point where you're like, oh no, the crust formed, then take a spoon and just skim that crust
Okay,
off.
don't try and stir
Don't
it
try
in.
to mix it in
Don't do
because
that.
you will hate yourself.
Yeah.
I've tried, you know, in my 16 years of baking, there's been times where I've tried, I'm like, you know, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It isn't
has
fine.
never been fine. So just don't take it from me. It's not worth it.
Is there any way to rescue sugar cookies if you've baked them too long? Like if your bottom is a little
too brown.
browner than you hope.
Yeah, I mean, you can use a planer. So it's basically like a little grater.
Okay.
Almost like or what you would use to get the zest
Oh,
off
okay.
of a lemon or an orange. Yeah, and so just very gently, you can do that on the back side of a cookie and just kind of very lightly do that, and you'll get that darker
Okay.
color off.
I wonder if it would work if I would just buy a sanding block that I could just use in the
Could
kitchen.
you? Well, I think it would create a lot of crumbs. That's the only thing
Yeah.
you have to be careful of, because then if it starts to crumble,
Oh yeah,
then
now
your
my whole
icing won't
integrity
stick
is
and-
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the planer works actually really well. And
See, I
actually,
don't have a planer, but I know where Rona is.
oh, there you go. There you go. Well, they might have. I don't know if it's food safe though.
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's like what?
Exactly. Just eat it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Stop
Doesn't always
complaining.
have to be. Yeah. I
Renee's
mean, some
like,
people really like
yeah,
the toastiness.
I've heard that before. Just eat it. It'll be fine.
It's fine. You know, I like to say that when it's a little bit more golden, it means that the sugars have caramelized more, the butter has, browned a bit, and so it does lend a nice flavor. I know quite a few bakers that actually bake to brown.
Break to brown. Yeah, because then it'll have a more caramely taste.
Yeah, it'll have more of a different flavor profile.
What's that thing? Starts with an M. To me, it looks like a duck, like a mallard. It's like the Maillard effect, something like that, where sugars. It happens with meat. That's why at a certain temperature, the water is all gone from like the surface of the meat, and it gets that brownness. Same with
okay.
yeah,
Yes,
like
right.
with butter. If you're browning butter, it's like sitting there forever and ever, steaming off like crazy, and all of a sudden it's starting to get nutty and caramely.
Exactly.
And it's like, yes, this
There
is
you
the
go.
moment.
Yeah, right.
It's that.
It's exactly
starts
that.
with an M. So please note underneath, it's this, and this is how you say it, woman. If you call me woman, I'll be really mad, but I'll do it to myself.
It's only fine when I say it.
Yeah, it's only fine. Renee's like, yeah, that's true. She's so inconsistent. No. So working and doing content with your kids, like, it's kind of fun, isn't it?
It is fun. It's fun. It can be fun when the directive is very clear and it's laid out very clearly. It's, sometimes I kind of have to dangle a bit of a carrot. It's more so for the sweet little 8-year-old because his patience is very...
Well, yeah.
Right?
He's 8.
He's 8. But it's fun to be able to do things like we did a fun video baking these everything but the kitchen sink cookies.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, which included potato chips and pretzels and chocolate chips recipes on the blog. So funny. But it's fun to do those kinds of things together, and we filmed it. Yeah. Now when I look back at that, I go, gosh, that was like a fun time. It's kind of a fun way to capture moments that you just wouldn't otherwise.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of fun because it makes it somewhat intentional, even though it's technically work. And you got to get the shot. I'm sure you got to get the shot. You got to make sure the angles are right. You got to make sure your shirt's not weird, and all those kinds of things. But it is fun, and it's such a great way to express yourself, and it's such a fun way to be creative. It's not something I ever thought I would ever tap into. Like, I have a science background.
Okay.
And so like leaning into more the creativity is
right.
so neat. It's so neat, and it's definitely something that I love.
Chemistry? Like what? Because I could see chemistry in baking.
Yes, for
That's
sure.
like that.
So I used to work as a pharmacy technician. So I was in the pharmacy world.
Okay.
I worked for the hospital for a number of years, and it was what I thought was my thing. And then in the background, there was always this nagging feeling. I actually really wanted to go to culinary school.
Yeah.
That was the thing I wanted to do after high school. And, you know, you always try not to listen to outside voices, but they were like, don't do it. You'll have long hours and you'll do all these things. And it's funny. I always chuckle because now as somebody who's a content creator and also self-employed, there's also very long hours.
Exactly.
And you don't have a 9 to 5, and you know, you basically give up the 9 to 5 to work 24 hours a day. And I was just mentioning this in my stories not long ago that it's you know, I wouldn't trade it. It's hard work, but the fact that I can go pick up my son in the afternoon, or if my kids are not feeling well, or if there's a field trip, or anything, you know, you just kind of like make the schedule work. You know, things just sort of open up and close and all those kinds of things, and it's great.
And at the end of the day, you can feed them things.
And at the end of the day, exactly. They always ask. My son is the one with the biggest sweet tooth. My kids, my older two, are kind of over it already.
Oh, yeah.
But he's the one that's still like, Mom, is there anything extra downstairs? Is there anything extra downstairs? And so I kind of make sure I have some undecorated cookies because he loves to decorate sugar cookies.
Oh, that's so cute.
So I'll have some extra. And he's like, Mom, is there any extra icing? And because he loves decorating with icing. And so it's fun. Like we always joke that if there's anybody in the family that's going to take over the baking business, it's going to be him. So I don't know if we're calling it now or if it's just a thought, but you never know.
Put some money on that.
Right? Like, yes, he did
skin
it.
in the game.
He did it.
Yeah. My husband and I play a game when we're dreading something. We put bets on the elements of dread.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
Yeah, like we lived in Mexico for a while, so going back into the U.S.
Right.
Okay, the border's going to be 45 minutes long. If it's longer than 45, I win. If it's less than 45, you win.
Oh my gosh.
And so you're waiting.
Great.
It's like, am I going to win? Am I going to win? And
that actually makes it more fun.
100%. And it's a thing you're dreading, but it turns it into kind of gamifies it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Is the border guard going to say X, Y, Z?
Right.
Are we going to end up in secondary having our car torn apart?
Oh my gosh, that's like, I always feel like I'm a criminal no matter.
I know. It's like I'm not hiding anything, honestly.
I know. Even like going on planes, like, you know, when you're just like, when they ask you, you know, did you leave your bag unattended, or did you pack the bag? You're like, yes, but you're like, did I accidentally did I pack explosives in my bag this time? Like, the thought of, you know, they're gonna find something. You're like, they're not gonna find anything. I don't have anything to put in there. Yeah. But it's just, they give you that thought, and you're just like, now I'm a criminal. I'm a criminal, even though I don't know what I'm a criminal for.
Do you ever get this urge to say the thing you're never supposed to say? Like in any context? Like, I don't know.
You know, fortunately, I've never put myself in a position where I've said something I didn't want to say, but there are times where I'll kind of like choke on my, I'll choke on my saliva because I was about to say something, and I'm like, oh, that was like the universe telling me not to say that. Yeah. So I'm good. But you know, in those instances,
I didn't pack the bomb, did I, honey?
Yeah, right. Or when they ask you simple questions and you're just like, oh my God, I feel like I don't know how to speak anymore. I don't. What's the language? What you know? Who am I? What is my name? Who is this person? You know, it just suddenly everything is. Yes. They instill such fear.
I know, and they're always up on a little platform.
Yes.
So they're looking down at you.
Yeah, and they're like, so poker faced that you're just like, do you ever smile at all? Or?
Yeah, I kind of always want to like say something that will make them smile, and I'm like, okay, you're human.
Right.
But
or
in
like
my
crack
trying,
a little joke, and you're just like,
jokes are always so scary because they can go really wrong.
I know.
Get you in secondary for more searches.
Well, that's just the thing, and it's funny. It reminds me of a time where I bought. The box set of Harry Potter was available for a really good deal, but I had to go pick it up at my P.O. box down in the States, and this was when we were living on the coast. And so so the border guy is like, well, what's the purpose of your trip? And I said, oh, well, I'm just going to pick up something and pick up some books. And he's like, well, what books? And I'm like, Harry Potter. And he's like, oh gosh, aren't those the greatest books? And I like immediately like just calm right down, because I thought, I don't know what I was expecting, but you're always expecting the worst. And so I was like, oh, this turned around actually.
Yeah.
I felt okay going, you have a nice day now. And I drove away and I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't get out of here any faster. Maybe he'll change his mind and tell me to stop, or I don't know.
You can't have those books.
You can't have those books.
It's like, start the car.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you just peel out of there and feeling even more like a criminal now.
Oh, exactly. See,
it's like,
you
I got away
win.
with absolutely nothing, because there's nothing
There's
I
literally
just got
nothing
away with.
to get away with. Yeah, but it's always that feeling, that satisfaction of going, whew, live to see another day.
Yeah. Or realizing that you have fruit in your car.
Oh gosh.
It's like, okay, everybody eat those apples.
Oh yeah. Or there was a time where we were flying in we were leaving Hawaii, and I didn't realize I had a water bottle in my my backpack.
Oh.
I completely forgot it was in there.
Right.
And so of course they confiscated my bag and were like, did you, do you have anything? And I was like, no. And he's like, are you sure? And I was like thinking, oh my gosh, well, what is it? And he's like, so he pulls out the water bottle, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe I literally drank out of that not 5 minutes ago. And
Can
I
they just
completely
pour it out?
Yeah,
and then
he
it would
just
be
took
okay?
it. He just took the bottle. It was just it was a not a reusable water bottle.
Oh, okay,
It was just
okay.
A plastic one. And so
I'm picturing your beloved Yeti.
oh,
going
my
missing.
Stanley. No.
Yes.
No.
With your 3,000 Stanleys in
Oh
your
my
trunk.
gosh, that's a something. Hey?
Yeah, have you read that on the news?
I read that.
Isn't that nuts?
It is nuts.
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean, I'm all for drinking water.
Well, yeah, but come on.
Hydration. But you don't need 60 water bottles. It kind of loses the message.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. You do need a vessel to drink water, which is great. Trying to be environmentally conscious.
But you need all
But
the
you don't
vessels.
need 70 of them. Yeah, and
So he kept your bottle.
He kept my water bottle, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot. And I'm sure they probably think this too. They're probably like, oh God, she was so panicked and so worried that she was a criminal.
Yeah.
So she forgot there was a water bottle in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I've been caught with corkscrews. Like right now, I've got a corkscrew in there because I worked as a somm for about 5 years.
Fair enough.
And so I
it's just
always
second
had
nature?
somewhere on me there was a corkscrew. You'd have to be really deliberate and crazy to hurt somebody, but you could with the worm part.
That's true.
Yeah, but I guess you could scrape them hard.
They are quite sharp at the end, I guess.
Poke, and it's got that little knife, but it's
but
just
it's
meant
not
for cutting the foil.
That's right. It's not really. I mean,
Yeah.
you try to cut a piece of cheese with that.
You're not going to do it.
Successful.
No, you're going to break your little knife.
Exactly. But I
think
can imagine.
the worst I could do is, the part that you use to counter.
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
right.
because it clamps. You could pinch somebody really hard.
I suppose that's probably what I would do with it, because I wouldn't think to do anything.
I'm just going to pinch you with my...
Pinch you really hard. I hope that hurt.
Because we suck as criminals. That's
yes,
why.
we wouldn't know what to do with weapons.
Renee's like, what are you talking about? Her face always gives me guidance. It's
Right,
just
she's
like, oh no. Or
we're going down a
you're going down a really weird path right here.
But it kind of ties in, because like you said, you were a somm, and so therefore naturally you would carry this carry a bottle opener.
Yeah, I had one from this cute little resort on Vancouver Island.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and I thought it was just a bottle opener because it was branded on the handle. It had a nice wide handle.
Oh, nice.
It was really lovely because you could put your thumb on it and use it.
Right.
So easy.
I know, because some of those are really tricky. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't stabilize.
Exactly.
It's just a stupid bad piece of equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, get rid of that thing. But this was amazing. And then I thought, there's no problem with this. It's got no sharp edges.
Right.
It isn't a thing. So I packed it just in case I need to open a bottle.
Sure. How many times have you been caught with not being able to open up a bottle of wine?
Yeah. This would be more for crown lids.
Oh, sure.
Because it was a thing.
Yeah. But even still, sometimes that is.
Yeah. I know how to use different parts of my door for that, and I've seen people do it with their teeth.
I've done that once before.
Did you do it with your teeth?
Yeah, I was in my early 20s. I would not recommend doing that. Thankfully, I didn't break a tooth. But
parents bonkers. No matter how old you are, there's I spent so much money on that smile.
Exactly.
And here you break it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
my parents will be watching it.
You did what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't recommend that. So again, like I say, sometimes it's important to have that.
Yeah, so I'm sending it through with complete confidence that there's no problem in my. And then they did the 20 questions. Oh, you have something in your bag. I was like, oh, okay, I've got a lot of things in my bag. Which thing in particular are you referring to? Oh, well, like waiting to see if I would confess it or something. It's like, well, I don't know.
You're like, I don't even know what's the perpetrator here.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure I'm a bad guy, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
And then they pulled it out, and it was like, aha, like waiting for me to crumble. I was like, I don't understand.
Oh my gosh.
And then they pulled it apart, and it had a corkscrew.
Oh, did you know that?
I never knew. I never knew.
Oh,
it was an even
must have seen
better
that then,
design
right?
than I thought
Oh,
it
you're like,
was.
this was like super efficient.
Yeah, it's like, oh, now I want to keep it even more
Oh,
because
so
I can
they
do
wouldn't let you keep
anything. No, they took it.
Oh, you're
so
kidding.
somewhere in Vancouver, there's
Somebody
a
owns
guy with a really good bottle opener corkscrew inside of the handle.
I think about
still
that with
bitter
skincare
about
too.
that.
You know?
Yeah.
Because they have that limit in Canada. They have that limit.
Yeah.
So I think about like I don't know. If I was a border person and there was really expensive skincare that somebody had to confiscate, I'd probably go, oh, I think it's such a shame to put that in the garbage, you know? I mean, it's just, you know,
What are the
$300
regulations
bottle
back here?
of, you know, face serum. I think I could, you know,
Yeah, I
make
know
it go
somebody
away.
who could. I'll donate it to the poor. I don't get paid nearly enough.
Yeah, right? Like there's a lot of things that probably end up in
Things
those
that
places.
get confiscated and you just don't know.
You have to wonder whether or not like I said, I'd be like,
Yeah. What are you up to?
hey, you know, like it's such a shame for that to go to waste.
Yeah.
I know somebody who could use that.
Oh, I was at the Jammery. I bought a bunch of cute little jams as a hostess gift
What
for
a
friends in
thoughtful
Winnipeg. Yeah, no.
They
took my jam.
See, somebody must have taken that home
Oh, I would have.
because like that's so wasteful. If
And
we were
it's
to just throw it out.
fantastic jam, right?
What a shame.
It's like eat with a spoon jam.
Yeah,
And
no, I agree.
There it's gone. Yeah, well, there's my crankiness for the day. All over your pretty counter.
Over, yes.
Like
you know what?
crankiness.
You can drown your sorrows in cupcakes and cookies. Then how about that?
Well, yeah, this will restore me instantly. I feel better already just looking at it. So you do have some stuff coming up, and people can get
Yes, so I do have.
These?
So not these specifically.
because squish.
Because squish,
Okay.
yes. Although locally, so I have a couple of little fun pop-ups that I'm doing in town.
Are you going to notify us on socials?
Yes, they'll be all
Okay,
the
we'll
details will
watch.
be on socials. So you'll be able to get some cupcakes and some sugar cookies, and you know there's a football game I think that's coming up pretty soon.
I heard about that.
You know, did
It's
you?
about snacks
Yeah.
and commercials, though,
It
right?
is, yes, right, exactly. So there actually will be some football themed cookies with the teams on there. So if you're rooting for a specific team, and it's funny because a few orders have come in and some people are leaning a certain way, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting to see where you know their loyalties lie. But so there's a bunch of options. There's sugar cookies and cupcakes and mini cakes and all those kinds of good things.
You have to develop a little Taylor Swift line
You
for the
know,
girls
I
that get
thought
dragged
about
to
that.
those.
I know, but then I feel like, are they the same people that just love the food and the commercials? Probably, right?
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine if she had done the halftime show? I think people would have lost their minds.
It would have been like, yeah, the world would explode in joy.
I think the world,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. I heard that she's doing like a concert in Japan or something like that.
Yeah, but she's rushing back.
But yeah, can you believe? Wow.
She's a good girlfriend.
She's sweet.
Yeah.
She's sweet. I love what she, like the positivity that radiates from her.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people resonate with her, and she gives them purpose. And I think that's really cool. Like just to see like so many different age ranges
Absolutely.
kind of like lean into her.
Everybody shows up.
Yeah, which is crazy. And we went to a concert once upon a time ago. My daughter and I, she won tickets to go see her.
What a great win.
It was, although, you know, when you're at a huge stadium, you know, you're better off I would rather be in a nosebleed seat because then you can see everything.
Oh, yeah.
We had floor seats. So we were literally like watching the big Jumbotron to see her. We were like so many rows back, but it was so cool because even then leaving the stadium after the concert, like everybody leaving was singing songs.
Yeah.
Like it was such a, Like, you know, it's just this community that
I've
think
seen
is really
videos
cool.
of people leaving her concert, all singing on the subway
Right,
and things like that.
yeah, exactly.
It's so much fun.
It's just, again, it's
there's
just a
hardly
very
anything that we
cool-
all come together over anymore.
I agree.
It's
I
like
agree.
cookies, yes.
For sure.
Taylor Swift, yes.
Food.
Food, 100%.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So I think, yeah, I think it's great. I think those are the kinds of things that, you know, just keep things fun and, you know, it brings people together. And I think that that's sometimes what we need.
Yeah, keep the joy and the happiness in your kitchen.
Exactly.
Because everybody's going to end up here.
Yep, the heart of the home.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, can we take this home?
Absolutely.
Plate too?
Not the plate.
Darn it.
But I have a little box. I'll package everything in and